I think you guys need to be very, very proud of your Kansas City delegation, not only in the House, but particularly in the Senate, who I work with. Senator Justice, who's a very good friend of mine, has done a tremendous job as minority leader. Senator LeVota, Victor Callahan and I were very, very good friends, and Senator LeVota has stepped in and did a great job in his first year, and Senator Holzman and Senator Kraus. You do really have a strong delegation in the Senate. I think that's important for a number of reasons, and I think what you began to see this year, which I hope we can build on, is a growing sense of unity between the metropolitan areas as we move forward, particularly on economic development legislation. I can tell you that any discussion that has to do with agriculture, you see a very, very united front from many of the rural senators. And it is my hope that we can begin to be much more unified in the way that we speak as it relates to growth from the St. Louis side and from the Kansas City side. I think that has been one of our challenges as a state and as metropolitan regions for a long, long time. And whether it relates to education funding, which we're not going to get into today, or other issues, we have a lot more in common than what separates St. Louis and Kansas City. And so I think we need to continue to work on that. And I pledge to work with my colleagues on that in the interim as we go into 2014. I don't even want to think about 2014 yet.
A lot of people, you read the paper that we waste a lot of time, and I guess you can say that, but actually we did everything we needed to do. There's breakdowns, but it's not because we ran out of time at 6 o'clock last Friday, but the calendar's there, we know what's going on, and it's going to end at some point. But someday we will get these things done when we finally can get some agreements. Senator Schmitt mentioned the second injury fund, which I was going to talk about a little bit, and that is just something that's finally been worked on for years. And I know he worked on it, Senator Ruth worked on it in the House, Todd Richardson from Poplar Bluff worked on it very hard. And they finally got it across the finish line, so that was very encouraging. It shows that we can get things done. Unfortunately, we have to wait till it seems like a real deadline because it's underfunded. The courts are at some point going to make a decision. Hopefully this will help restore its fiscal sanity and make it so they can pay off some of the claims. Another thing that we worked on this year and was able to pass is unemployment insurance reform. It was carried by Representative Lant in the House, and also Senator Kraus in the Senate added his thing about misconduct. There is a growing problem in the state with the courts, the way they've defined misconduct over a period of time. It has become very broadly based. I've talked to many employers. They're reluctant to add people because when they let them go for cause, they still get unemployment and it still impacts their fees they pay. And it's not the biggest thing, but it's a thing that causes people to be less likely to hire folks.
It was quite a learning experience being in the Senate compared to the House. One thing that I thought was very positive as we started is that we worked on the second injury fund immediately, and it was a very good exercise in compromise in listening to each other's concerns, and we got that over to the House very quickly, and luckily we got something passed to where it works not only for workers but also for businesses, and I thought that was a pretty positive thing. Other thing we worked on very hard and got accomplished was some ideas for education. I think I've said to past chamber groups that I think the number one economic issue in the Kansas City area is trying to improve the Kansas City School District. And we've got a provision passed where DESE can take over unaccredited districts quicker than the 2-year timeline. Not sure if that's going to end up affecting the Kansas City School District, but the point is when you have a school district that's struggling, obviously it hurts the kids, hurts the families, but also hurts business. And we want to be able to have DESE have the opportunity to go in and do what they need to do to improve that area. Other education bill that I was proud to sponsor and get passed that I think will help the Kansas City School District is a little restructure of the Kansas City School Board. Currently there are 9 members on that board, and they run in 2-year staggered terms in April. My bill changed that. It went from 9 to 7 to reflect a consistency with other school boards, but also the fact that it lost part of the Independence area and the dwindling numbers there. There will be 2 at large, 5 within district. But I think the biggest impact is that those folks will now, in the future, be elected with the city election. Our municipal election is at the end of March every 4 years, and so the school board will run with them. The idea behind that, I think, and we've talked about ideas to improve education all the time, about teachers and more funding, but we got to get the public engaged. And the ultimate way to get them engaged is through an election. And I think an election where more people turn out, there's more focus on it through the press, is going to get better candidates, more questions from constituents, and I think in the long term, we're going to have a more engaged public when it comes to Kansas City School Board.